All right, and welcome everyone to another episode. We hope you guys are having a fantastic day, night, or whenever you're watching or listening to this. So today's topic, we want to talk about, oh, resentment, judging. I think all of us have felt at some point or another resented towards someone else, especially feeling resented or judgmental or offended because someone perhaps viewed something differently than us, or perhaps said something that we didn't like. And so that's really what we want to talk about today is Dad, why is it that especially when people have differing opinions or viewpoints that we tend to be judgmental towards others?
Good. Let's first talk about judgment. Okay?
Okay.
Our body, our brain, our nervous system, it is designed to, as we get exposed to the external world, to give a name to whatever we see. We label things,
Hmm.
colors, sizes, and that it facilitate our interaction with the elements of the external world and anything that we see. Like we can distinguish and we can verbally talk to each other, about things like, my house is the White House that's in the center of the street.
Hmm.
So, those labels helps conversation, but not only helps on the conversation, but also it helps our brain to encrypt the information and reduce the amount of energy that's needed. I
Hmm.
mean, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, from that point, I mean, this is helpful. Uh, unfortunately, when we don't know, we have that information, we may fall into using this mechanism, to pass judgment on people. No, we're trying to, by doing this, we can create a problem. So, and for the most part, the judgment part, it has to do about us.
Hmm.
So, of
How
course,
so?
we have to, you know, also we we're witnessing our own behaviors. So we make mistakes, and we cannot escape from those mistakes because our body is going to respond by turning the stress mechanism.
Hmm.
So, and which is where some chemicals like norepinephrine, it is put in the body, in the brain, that it helps us to be give us some energy to call the attention on the mistake. And we feel emotions, maybe guilt, okay? And that helps us to, move into the observation of the problem, the mistake we made. And then acetylcholine, which is another chemical, it helps us to keep focus on the mistakes. So, and we can learn from the mistake. If we're in this physical situation or this physiological moment when the mistakes happens, we have a chance to reconcile the mistake, make some changes, and improve our life. And this is the process. Unfortunately, we don't take advantage of this. Instead of facing the mistake, we turn our focus on something else. See, we don't want to face the mistake we made, which creates a different problem. You know? So we turn our focus on another person or something. Okay? And we pay attention to is not relevant really to the mistake I made, and the biology that's taking place at the moment. They give me the opportunity for changing if I make a mistake, okay, or for learning. So that it maintains now. Now it turns this opportunity through this process of learning from mistakes into stress, psychological stress, which means a lot of these chemicals in excess of these norepinephrine, because the brain is gonna continue trying to uh, make us awake. Hey, you done something wrong, don't biggie, learn from this, and move on. Okay, and we don't take advantage. So the brain will continue putting norepinephrine, which is a certain kind of adrenaline that the brain produces. So now there's a problem. The brain is going to be on alert. Signals is going to be sent to the stress mechanism, and then we're going to have more hormones of stress in the body, in the brain. So now that persisting of this biological, you know, climate in a brain and body, it will create a little bit of suffering. Okay,
mm,
so the persistent help us to kind of come back. Hey, pay attention to this. This mistake it happened. No, you can't carry on this. This is gonna. It's like if the body say, hey, not a big deal. Don't make it this little pain, little guilt moment into a suffering of a long time. So, but unfortunately, we don't pay attention to that, and we kind of feel the pain. I feel like upset or resented, or you know, whatever less pleasant emotion are there. And I'm under stress. My the physiological state of the brain is going to be on a situation which I turn mechanism of stress into a psychological stress. So there's going to be a system where you're going to have a narrow view of things. I'm going to
mm,
be focusing on mistakes only. It's like everything around us is danger. Could it be a dog that's in front of us? The spouse speak and we just kind of react, or a little kid asks money for shoes and we kind of say foolish things like, you know, did I bring money from the tree? Whatever. Foolish.
uh-huh,
Is the money I just count from the sky? We did a lot of foolish and say a lot of foolish things under this physiological state. It's a problem now because there's going to be confusion, and we're going to think that actually who is creating that feeling is the other person that's in front of me. And in the other hand, in this uh, state, stress, I'm going to be labeling it. See, it's a reflection. So the pain I receive, I think, is from you, or from my granddaughter, or my neighbor, or whoever is driving in front of me. Yeah. But there is other components, internal components that are really creating this situation. It is a judgment on me, you know, instead of focusing on me, who did not took care of the problem a year or last week or 20 years ago. Okay. Now, when the feelings of those emotions arise, okay, we may, because we're confused. There's no clarity. I start to label people and judge. No, this is lazy. Here's a person that's stupid. Here's another person that is, never is going to change. Or I can turn that also into me, which is not good because, the moment of changing, it has to do with an opportunity for growth. But now I'm engulfed in this uh, suffering moment, with not really discerning about things. So now I may think the other person is the one that's creating the problem. So the more we do that, okay, the more difficult it becomes to really be clear, and the judgment will continue. I mean, of course, this is nothing that we can get away with because there is uh, the design of our body. It is such, is to produce those chemicals and create memories to be sure that I have an opportunity to change. Maybe today, maybe in a week, maybe in 3 years, who knows? The one thing that we cannot really avoid is the incremental pain that comes along with this. If I continue judging and not having an opportunity to see what really is taking place in me and the things that I'm actually supposed to be done, you know, yesterday or an hour ago to reconcile my mistake, or maybe a year or 5 years ago, we cannot have this. The pain is going to be in memories. The suffering is what is going to take place, but it doesn't have to be that way, and it just doesn't have to be that way because fortunately there's plasticity, there's way to change, and that's about judgment. Okay? You asked about resentment. Now, here's another thing. Um, there are emotions that we go through life. As I say, some are created by my own mistakes, some are I witness the mistake of somebody else. And all these have to be reconciled. Not only mine, but I carry something that somebody inflicted. Now I have to heal it. Okay, and that's still is my responsibility. And of course, we got families and we got friends, and we can together kind of lift each other's heavy burden. Okay? But nevertheless, I still have the one to say about it. So what happened is there is this need, and the need is for me to connect with other people. So in the connection, it helps. It helps with lifting the burdens.
Mm.
So the brain produces chemicals that helps me approach you. You're my friend. I trust you, and I come and I say, "Ulysses, can I talk to you?" Okay. You say, "Yeah," and then I can pour my heart. I'm carrying heavy burden because whatever, it may not be even heavy, but it could be just an illusion in my mind.
At least to you, it feels heavy.
At least to me. And if I talk to you, probably you may help me to have some clarity. Help me to kind of look from the different point of view. So now I approach you, and then you listen to me, and then I can have some light. So you help me to remove the pain that I'm carrying. So let me talk to you because these things are toxic. It is worse than the the COVID pandemic and the virus that produces. It's worse.
All right, sorry about that. We had a few technical difficulties, but yeah, Dad, you were saying how resentment and
Yeah,
how this is similar to a virus.
yeah. And then if I carry anything that is damaging, it's like a virus. No? It's gonna take over. I mean, it doesn't mean that we really in a prison. What happened is like the virus. No, the immune system, could have just encircle, the area was infected, destroy uh, whatever is not good, and then I'll be okay. So in the same way, there are mechanisms inside that help us. One of those is the immediate, desire to approach somebody. It's inherent this thing that could be harmful. So I go to you and I talk to you, or you listen to me, and I use the resources you have to have empathy and compassion. You listen, and then you feel my pain, and then by listening, by investing time, you actually acting in compassion. Now my mind is clear. I can probably learn and move on and put this thing behind, or take the action that's needed to really reconcile an issue that is bothering me. So that it has to do with that. Now, let's say that at that moment, okay, you can now talk to me. I go to you and I say, Ulysses, can I talk to you? And at the moment you can't because perhaps you didn't sleep well last night, you're busy, or maybe you're not in the mindset at the moment because you're a human being like me. And then that I have put my expectations that you could probably listen, and it was the wrong time. And then I go home and I'm thinking, he's selfish, he doesn't care, and I start really entertaining thoughts that are really not helpful. You know, I helped him 2 years ago, and I always take him to school and whatever. So under that lack of mental stability, we kind of get trapped into now allowing these unhealthy thoughts. That is really, no way to really be aware because just jump. We just, I mean, we can be aware, okay, but we just jump into the conclusion that he is this and that, and I cannot see that. So building that, it just it increases the amount of stress chemicals, and then I construct circuitries. The circuitries are going to be connected to a very fast highway and have a neurocircuitry in the brain that is related to fear and stress. In this case, is the fear of not being accepted. No, he did not accept me. People may not accept. So we jump into this conclusion. So that creates a feeling of resentment. You probably tell me, listen, I can't talk right now. And I say, okay, I smile. Okay, but then I go driving home, or go to the room thinking that, he's this, and that. So
Mhm.
that's what is taking place.
So it's interesting because both with when it comes to resentment, when it comes to judging, not correct me if I'm wrong, but it almost seems like when we have these feelings, and everyone feels them, like no one's perfect, like we're all going to feel them at some point. Well, but when we have these feelings, it's almost like the body's way of trying to tell us, hey, there's something else there. There's something else that you haven't resolved. That there's something to work on there.
Yeah, and the thing is, if we don't pay attention now, the burden that I carry, yeah, it becomes bigger. Now I pay my attention to you. I really came to you to tell you that I make a boo not in school and I cheat and I feel bad. Or maybe, I feel bad because I don't have the job I expected, or I made mistakes in my finances and I'm heavy on debt and I need a friend to listen and give me advice. So now the real reason why, you know, um, I went to you to handle this problem now is it's been masqueraded by this new train of thoughts.
Hmm.
Okay? More, more, you know, more of these chemicals come. And yeah, it is that. Is the body's telling us, there's something that's inconclusive. It's haven't been done. It hasn't been really removed. This virus is still there. No, but we don't pay attention. No. We don't listen now. I go home and I say, I got to tell you about Ulysses. Okay? He's very insensitive. Okay? So there. No? And I play the victim.
Mhm.
Tell my spouse, I'll tell another friend, or even I lie to myself. I can be in the middle of a rumination, in dialogues. My mind will play a recorded voice from the past, and then I kind of having a conversation with. I mean, it's just a very bizarre. With so either I can talk to somebody if I'm the victim, okay, and then now I portray a victim because I started thinking of all the good things I done to you, over the last 20 years. So there, this guy, I took him to work. I took him driving here, and he asked me for money. I gave it to him. Okay, I don't remember all the good things you done to me. Okay, I don't remember, because he's a narrow, very narrow focus. Okay, just like if I'm in front of a lion, I'm just going to see whatever is going to create danger. I'm not going to see anything else. When I'm in danger is good, but now this is psychologically distracting.
That is really interesting because something I've thought about a lot lately, and this is not in a way to try and judge others, just more an observation. I just find it very interesting how I mean we've actually seen it a lot. It may more so because of the internet we see it more. I'm sure it was always there, but just how often it seems that people or someone they get angry at someone because of a different political view or a different religious view, or even you like the New York Jets and I'm a Patriots fan, or whatever it might be. But it's almost as if, like, kind of like you were saying, like they are identifying others as the source of the pain instead of looking inward and realizing that actually it's something inward. It's not you. It's not because you're a Catholic and I'm a Jew. Like it has like that has nothing to do with the actual source of the pain.
And that's correct. It is a dangerous thing because it affects relationship, it affects, health. And in some cases, if my mental state is not correct, it could affect even, to the extreme point. The extreme point is when I get into the rabbit hole, I get stuck into this, you know, never-ending tunnels, I fall into. I mean, some people, when they get there, they keep falling. Okay.
Mhm.
Not a lot of people are going to do a crime out of this. Some will. Some will shoot another person because they have a different religious view or different political view. And some just because, you speak in a certain way or the color of skin is different. So it's a very dangerous one. I mean, no doubt that we do have different opinions. Okay? And the problem when we fall into a hole is that we start believing that I had the best intentions and the other person no, doesn't have. So I'm right and the other person is wrong completely. And it's we fall into this um, reasoning. So we reason about things and we certify and acknowledge our thoughts as to be the only truth. Okay?
Mm.
Nobody else has anything else is true. So as I say, it could be dangerous, if we get into that position because we could end up, losing friends, losing family. We can die very sick. For some people, it is extremely dangerous because they will probably end up in jail because they might kill someone. So not everybody will do that, but there is a number of people that might end up doing that. And of course, this is the thing is that I have an opinion, let's say, about how to do my hair, okay, or how to make it. So behind this uh, cultural things, it had to do with very mundane things like how to make the bed. Okay.
Uh,
There's always other things. There's always like memories of the past. There is perhaps some of those memories have to do with abandonment. Some is about aspirations and dreams. Some are connected to relationships. It could be, grandpa. Grandpa taught me how to do the bed. And
uh,
grandpa and I were like so close. I love this guy. He's no longer here, but anyways, the mind record that and connect it to other things that are valuable. And now I go and get married, and then I found, that my wife believed that the way I make the bed is not the correct way.
uh,
So it's a problem. If I don't understand what really is happening, and I'm going to react to my wife about is how about you make the bed. Yeah. If I'm kind, I may not react, verbally, but I may keep a resentment about this. Which, if I don't know how to speak and resolve conflicts, I may keep it in the heart, and that becomes the virus that's going to hurt the relationship.
mm,
I don't know how to deal with that. I may even verbally attack and diminish the person, right? Confronting, which is going to create problems. So either way, either of those two ways are going to hurt the relationship. The institution of the marriage, in this case, will be affected. Okay?
mhm.
This is nothing that will happen overnight because, we still have the romance at the honeymoon and it's all good. And okay, I just willing to let this go now. It doesn't mean that it's going to solve because it's going to come up. And then later on, when other conflicts and situations start coming into, to the life of these people, it's going to surface again. So, yeah. For my spouse, the making of the bed, in a way, is also related to history and memories. Okay. Maybe her mom taught her how to do it. Okay. And she admired her mom. It is probably an amazing woman, Or maybe she thinks, mommy is the best housewife. Okay? I like the way how she did it. And when I was a kid, I could see the bed and it sounded like fun. I don't know. Whatever it is. So who is wrong here? Okay? That's the question.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But the other thing that is, it's these different things, it creates a tremendous opportunity to build a romance and a friendship. And two people that come from different backgrounds, different hopes, different emotions, different histories. They come together and an opportunity is created to explore the life of the other person, which is encrypted. It's not, the memories and the conversations may not be, on the surface, but behind these things that we do, there are history. So we have to really explore it. So let's bring an example. Okay, here's let's say I'm pretend I'm gonna do the bed today. I'm married like 3 months. Finally think, okay, I'm not gonna be anymore like my father and not helping. I'm gonna make the bed. Okay, and I make it. And, memories come in, and these memories just spark without even thinking about the way her grandpa made the bed, and I do it that way. It's a connection to a, a feelings of love with somebody that is already passed away and is recorded. Okay, or maybe an expectation, or something. Maybe I saw on TV. I was a kid and I dreamed with being the king of the palace, and I saw how they were making the bed. It looks so nice. Everything is sparkling, and I said, we were processing and thinking with these dreams. And it's nothing bad with that. It's just absolutely amazing because now you have this person that comes with a way to do things, another person, and both bring things of value to the marriage. Now, I'm doing the bed, my wife come in and she react because the bed is not made the way how she makes it. And she is probably going to say something or make a gesture, okay, that is going to be noticeable. I'm going to notice whether she say, what, the pilot doesn't go the way, or maybe she doesn't say, but still, I'm going to feel something. Let's say she said, sweetheart, the blanket doesn't go that way. This goes this way, and I'm going to feel immediately, a strong emotion and pleasant. It's not that my wife says something bad, or that I'm an evil person, or that I have intention to create this scenario a problem. But what is happening, it is the opportunity of a lifetime. I could explore the dreams, the aspirations, or the pain that's on the memories of my wife mind. And if I explore that, that would be an amazing opportunity. And I can probably ask questions. Say, honey, it's amazing how you do the bed. Okay? Tell me about it. How you learn to do this bed? If we open that door, immediately she's going to walk into me and talking about emotional, and she's going to tell me the story. You know what? I haven't thought about it. Grandpa used to tell me how to do the bed. And then as she's saying that, I pay attention, and I'm focused and I ask questions like, oh, Grandpa, tell me more about Grandpa. How was Grandpa? How was your Grandpa? Well, he was this way and he did this and took me to the park and did this stuff. Now I start I'm mapping now. In my brain, I start creating a map circuitry of friendship and romance. Okay. Now I understand why this was so important. Instead of attacking and thinking, oh, you're stupid, get it this way, Okay. And then maybe at that point, once when these things are connected, you know, she's probably going to say, I can open the door and say, honey, Do you know what? That I learned to do this way through my uncle. And he was a sweet man. One day he took me and buy me ice cream. Another day, I cry. He just wiped my tears. So this is what this difference in opinion produce. The opportunity for growth.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, most people don't comprehend this. What they do is they do react. I mean, the reaction is normal. I mean, I made the bed, my wife said that was wrong, and I go like, shocking. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I may think who you think you are. Like if I don't know how to make a bed, or, the bed can be made in 100 different ways. So, and I can find that. I never resolve the conflict. Maybe 3 or 4 years later, it becomes a problem.
Mhm.
And that's with anything. So now going back to people, they have different opinions. Here you got, if it's a political opinion, okay, uh, one group might say, okay, you're going to be this position. The other group will be in this position. When there is not clarity in the mind, I'm going to think that I'm right. Eventually, just like the wife, that we weren't willing to kind of explore, the reason why those, uh, the way how the bed was made, eh, I could also end up hating her, 20, 30 years later, and end up divorcing the person sometime around there. Or even if I stay married, probably not, she's not going to be my best friend,
Mhm.
the person I can trust. Because, in my mind, I have not really explored her life. I mean, I know some of her, what she like, don't like, but perhaps I don't know the most intimate emotions, the hopes, and now this pain that maybe she can. Yeah. This is an opportunity for healing. And this can be in any situation. A person that has a different opinion on religion, a different opinion on political or sports. I remember in my case, I like Barcelona, my favorite team. And I remember as a young man how much I love that team and how much, I hear the crowds that were on my side kind of diminishing the other teams. Okay. And some of them get angry about it, and some of them were saying foolish things and maybe swear to the people that were watching. Um, and I remember one day I was going home and I thought about this and I said, I like sports, but this is very uncomfortable. This is not what I signed for. And I chose not anymore to do that. So what I did is I had a friend who was, he loves the other team. And normally this friend, we kind of push him away, from our group. So I chose to go there and I asked him about his team. I said, tell me more about this team. What do you like? And the guy started telling me things, what my father likes. I mean, we had a good time when we went to watch this. And it was nothing about really uh, the game itself, even though it creates some enthusiasm and some dopamine when you watch your team playing, doing well. But it was a stronger component of that experience. It has to do with time and the opportunity. So I explored this with my friend. And, I learned that he wasn't what I thought he was. You
Mhm.
know, he happened to be a wonderful guy. And we can do the same with people that we have a different opinion. See, the problem itself with these political opinions is really with the people that are cheering to create differences. Sometimes the leaders, they can restrict people to divide us. And if we are constrained because of our mental state and lack of clarity, so, it successfully it makes this that we separate from the others, not having an opportunity to have the conversation, to understand, why this person, have these beliefs that are more towards Democrat or Republic or independent. So we don't give ourselves to them. And as I say, it creates a danger thing because now we can be swayed anytime by any voice that inclines us and stir our hearts to kind of believe that this other person it is had that intention. It makes me believe that I'm the only one that has that intention. There is not a conversation between. So that's the biggest problem. And it has to do with my mental state where I can be swayed so easily without really thinking, on the content of the conversation of the leaders and in finding if that text or that content is true.
Mhm.
We just
And
believe completely and then we start. And that's also with in religion situation. If a religious leader speak bad about another religious leader, another group, we can get stuck. And also, that's not what Christ did at all. It's not what that we're talking about. Loving each other, understanding. It is a challenge, it's a work, but we have to do the work. Just like mapping out, you know, the hopes and dreams and experience and pain from my wife. It takes time. You have to really listen, okay? And invest time without passing any judgment. So I can understand really what else is there to heal or what that she has can be helped me to heal.
yeah, and it's interesting because as you were saying that it so I think everyone, or at least the majority of people, if not everyone, we want to be happy. We want to have peace of mind, and we might try getting it one way or another. But at the end of the day, I think everyone's looking for some form of happiness. And unfortunately, culturally speaking, it's almost most likely because our people are associating others with pain. We often have this ideal of like, or this thought, this belief that, oh, in order for me to be happy, I need to not associate with if I'm a Democrat, I don't even talk to a Republican. No, they're like you were saying, they're bad, they're evil. Or if I'm a Republican, all those dang Democrats, no, they're evil. Like we don't talk with them. They don't come over to our house, whatever the case may be. But unfortunately, what most people don't understand is that when, like as you were saying, when you actually do have those conversations, when you actually do have that put in that effort to have that empathy and understand the other person, that brings so much peace of mind. Like, and here's the thing: like, you don't have to change your belief. You can still believe. Oh yeah, I'm a Christian. I still believe in Christ. Or I'm a Jew. I don't know too many Jewish people, so I don't know too much about the religion. But I'm a Jew, and you can still like have your beliefs and still be empathetic and still get to know others and understand where they're coming from. And that alone brings so much peace of mind. Like I know I'm sure you've experienced that. I've experienced that where at like having that conversation with others and at the end of the conversation still believing what we believed, but at least having that understanding, that connection, it allows you to just move forward. You don't dwell on it. You don't go through the rest of your week thinking, oh my gosh, why does Jimmy down the street believe this? Why did he vote for this person? It doesn't matter anymore. It just allows you to move forward.
Yes, what you're saying, it makes you free, okay? Because otherwise you are really stuck. And it's hard because every time you hear news about this political person, then the stress mechanism turns on, and then you hear something and it turns on, and then it says you get stuck in a hole. Okay, that will affect your life. Affect. I mean, you may not make a crime. Okay, most people won't do it, but it's not worth it. Not worth it because every day counts. And our grandkids, our neighbors, our friends, and kids, I mean, they need us. I mean, they need the wisdom of our years of experiences. But if my mind is stuck on the fact that people are evil and they have their intentions and everybody wants to take me and we go after and charge these people and put them to jail and hurt them, and I mean that's not really that's not what's worth to me.
Mhm.
So It is we can do this with any person, Muslim, and Buddhist, uh, evangelist, you know, Catholics. I mean, we just need to understand and comprehend the fact that we all want to be happy. Who has the right to put aside somebody because they ethnicity or their beliefs? That's really very harmful more to us in our families.
Mhm.
It is to the others. Because the other person may not even know overthinking. He might be enjoying his life with her life. He might be suffering.
And that's one of the most interesting parts about this is that literally I could walk down the street wearing a whatever a political shirt, a whatever, and then you see it. Don't even we don't even have a conversation. But then for the rest of the week, you're like, oh my gosh, why was he doing that? Like it's just it's. I think if we sometimes like took a step back and actually observed our behavior, we would realize how foolish sometimes we behave and how foolish sometimes we are thinking.
Yeah, it's a lot of fears that the move. When it comes to this, it's fears, many fears.
Mhm.
The example of making the bed is mostly related to memories. Sometimes good memories. Sometimes they not be the best memories. Maybe I making the bed in a perfect way is because I'm afraid. It's related to the fears that was imposed as a kid to make the bed always perfect.
Mhm.
I, but behind that, there's love. See, I don't want to really make my mother upset. I want to do it right. And of course, the manifestation is to stress perfectionism. But really, underneath is love. So, I have to learn to remove that, and understand. Because maybe in the example, maybe my wife, it had nothing to do with that, but maybe it's fear. Eh, And she does it that way. And she'll defend it because, it represents for her to feel safe. Because maybe her mom was so perfectionist that probably punish her if the play wasn't that perfect.
Mhm.
And she's protecting something. And if I tell her don't make the bed away, well, it's not important, she's going to really charge on me. It's like if, you know, her mother is coming back to that moment, to the life of the child, in the memories of the child. So, and of course, we got to comprehend this. And then if we cannot connect, I could probably just do when I listen, pay attention without judging anything. I could probably help my wife to liberate herself from an illusion of fears, something that doesn't even exist and make it free. She probably still gonna make the bed the same way.
Mhm.
It's okay, but no longer this is attached to that. Because if it's attached to that, it's every day that she makes the bed, it's gonna be those intrinsic memories. So when it comes to charge somebody, for the most part, it's fear. Especially if it's fears to lose a game. No, so I have to attack the other team. Okay? I had to say bad things about the best player. Okay? I had to probably charge the referee or the weather. No, I'm afraid that my team gonna lose. Okay? What I have to do with happiness? I didn't enjoy the whole game. Just concerned about this thing. Didn't have a time to really enjoy. So that loss, it had to do about fear. First to be rejected because I'm wearing the color shirt of this team. I don't want to look ridiculed on Monday when everybody's going to talk about how bad my team did. So it's so many bizarre things. In the political realm, the same thing. Yeah, and it's so is in the religious. When I fight other people, I try to protect my family from the cultural and traditions of the religions. Okay? I don't want my mom and dad to be wrong. So I better attack this person that has a different beliefs. So very deceitful. But we have to learn how to find the layers. And for that, we have this connection uh, session where we help people to kind of figure out, learn how to do this because it's very important. I mean, we still can have different teams and have fun, and I can probably tell my player, hey, kick the ball, move. They're like, have fun. I win, I have fun, I lose, I have fun. And it doesn't matter. I'm not going to lose my sleep that night because for the next day, I'm going to enjoy both. Whatever performance was done by that game, that's what I'm going to focus. Like he wins, I said yes, no. He lose, I said yes, no, because they did their best. And now I'm going to just enjoy my life and life goes. So that's what life is like. If it's something wrong with that, then I probably can write to the editor and say, you know what, the referee didn't mark this. That's okay. No, doesn't mean a bad person. Something is done wrong in political realm. I can step in and go involved and call out on the person, call off, or maybe do something to help. Participate in whatever way to kind of help instead of being uh, very little proactive, just talking and making my mind sick and doing nothing. So it doesn't mean that I'm going to go and be aggressive. I don't have to. I don't have to be aggressive. I don't have to insult anybody. I don't have to diminish somebody else's character. I can point to the mistake. It doesn't mean that I'm going to demonize the person. I want to be sure that there's accountability.
Hmm.
I can say, okay, this thing was something out of line. Okay, we got to be accountable. Uh, who made it? And still there is light in the person. It's not necessarily you. Got to call.
Yeah. And I guess just to kind of I wrap up as another reminder, and obviously we're all guilty of it at some point or another. But if you do find yourself, especially often, judging others, feeling resented easily with others, I mean, that's a sure sign that there is some kind of insecurity, something there that needs to be resolved. And it could have been just be something from last week. It could have been something from 10 years ago, but it is a sure sign that there's something there.
And it's you listen. We have to work on this and be aware. As there's more conscience going, we are going to be aware. For example, we could be walking the street in automatic, you know, because of the memories and the way how we've been living in the past. It can have a voice. Oh, the person is fat, and then another voice that says maybe he's not doing exercise. See, this is the thing that we have to be aware and understand that these are judgments. This is totally judgments. I mean, even if the society and tradition does it, doesn't make any right. Neither it means that we are going to be healthy because we're going to be swayed by anything that pops into our mind, anything. And that's a show that shows that we're not free. So there is no freedom. We sway by any emotion, by anything that people may say. Okay? We may get engaged in conversation that diminish somebody else's character. That is a sign that we're not free. And as far as we're not free, there's not going to be happiness. And eventually, these other uh, situations are going to affect our health. So if this is automatically happening, there's a lot of work to do. We can start today.
100%. Well, I think with that we'll wrap up, and hope you guys have a fantastic day. Hopefully that was helpful for you, for anyone watching, listening to this. And if there's anything needs to be clarified, if you have any questions or topics that you want us to address, feel free to leave them in the comments or go ahead and message us on Facebook, and we'll go ahead and make sure we do that.